Recording in progress.
So I'm just taking a moment to take you all in. Cecil's here. Ooh, Michaleva. New people that I don't know, people that I've met at Sarah Yehudit on the High Council. Chana Vered is gonna also guide us in how to lead a High Council, questions about participating, leading. Wuma Shandel might pipe in as my chavruta and Torah and life. I know. So I'm Malka-Sima Pais. I'm a registered somatic and movement therapist and a certified Shake Your Soul dance instructor. I live in the Golan Heights with my husband and my 2 teenage children. And my passion is kind of combining the inner dimension of Torah with the inner dimension of our souls, of ourselves. And I want to dedicate this teaching to my grandparents. My grandmother had her Yom HaZikaron, her yard site was yesterday. Get Leba Bat Rachel Bela Veshlomo. And my grandfather, they were Yeda, which is another name for Esther. My grandfather was Mordechai, and his yard site is in the next few days as well. Mordechai ben Shimon Halevi, Yeshev Ilui Neshama. I also want to let you know, my clients know this, and if you've been in a class with me, I take pause points because I kind of feel myself losing ground as I'm a little nervous. So I might pause. There might be moments of silence and pause, and I invite you all to kind of connect to yourselves at that time as well. Okay, so let's jump in. I'm gonna first, the Purim High Council, which is what we're here for, was formulated by Sarah Yehudit Schneider, and I'm gonna read just a little bit. Sarah Yehudit Susan Schneider is the founding director of A Still Small Voice, a correspondence school that provides weekly teachings in classic Jewish wisdom to subscribers around the world. She's the author of Kabbalistic writings on the nature of masculine and feminine, as well as You Are What You Hate, Purim Bursts, Eating is Tikkun, Evolutionary Creationism, and of a new book coming out soon on shame. She has produced and now works with a homeopathic remedy based on Kabbalah. And she has a BA in molecular, cellular, and developmental biology from the University of Colorado in Boulder. She's lived in Jerusalem since 1981. She's a graduate of the Neve Yerushalayim. And she's just one of the women. She has kind of the most heart and generosity and just authentic Yirat Shamayim connection to Hashem, to herself, to others. So this is the fruits of her labor, the Purim High Council. I've been at the Purim High Council for over 20 years. And please God, I pray every year I should make it this year as well. And it's been my dream for many years. I was a grassroots organizer after college, and it's been my dream that the Purim High Council would reach more and more people around the world. So here we go. So I'm going to give an overview of the Purim High Council. Then we're going to do kind of an experiential, somatic, I would say, kind of body-centered exercise to deepen into this class, Chashmal, the first class we did, which I'll explain what that is. Last class was on the other. There's 4 modalities that make up the Purim High Council. So I'm doing 2 today, and we did 2 last week, and next week we'll kind of bring it all together. So the Purim High Council is kind of taken from a Hasidic tradition. The Shpoel Zaydi and his Hasidim used to make a kind of Beit Din on Purim. And they would say, like, this Gezerah, this, this needs to happen. And Hashem, they'd kind of have this Beit Din of what should be happening. And Sarah Yehudit was never comfortable with kind of saying, I know more than Hashem, what should be happening. So she put together this kind of prayer council. And it's evolved over the past 30 years with myriads of women whose input, and it's continuing to evolve as it reaches more and more people. It's based on Esther Malka and the actions she took, the meditation she did to save the Jewish people on Purim. In the honor and the merit that she risked her life, she was Mesirut Nefesh, to enter into the Chatzer HaPnimi, to the inner chamber of the king, which in the Megillah, when they say the king, it also means the king, and it also means the Chashverosh and also the king of kings. So she risked her life to enter into the Chatzer HaPnimi of the king. And so Hashem says on Purim, on your day, Esther, I open up the Chatzer HaPnimi, the Holy of Holies. It's not open any other time of the year for you, for the Jewish people to come. And what's there in the Holy of Holies is Or Chadash. Or Chadash is the light that filled Gan Eden. It's the answer to all our prayers, the healing that comes. It's either the answer to all our prayers or a shift in consciousness, which we're gonna play with this with the prayer stance of Chashmal, where even if the outside situation is still the same, there's a way that inside I feel just loved and held, and I know in every bone and cell of my body that this is coming. This, what it feels like suffering, is somehow is for the good. That there's a way, there's either a shift of consciousness or an outer healing. So on Purim, we take this opportunity. These practices can be used all year, but on Purim, we take the opportunity because the Holy of Holies is open. And on the first pole, and I'll show you the 4th pole, and I'm going to explain this. There's ratzon, vishov, Chash, and Mal. And I'm going to explain what each one of them are. So first we go up. Ratzon is a meditation. The most kind of detailed description of any meditation in the Torah is the description of the Yehudim that Esther and Malka used to carve out a channel of the inner planes to bring down to save the Jewish people. So and the Purim High Council itself, there is a guided meditation. It's a short body scan, kind of first dropping in, because there's this kind of paradox that in order to go up, we need to also go in. We need to be grounded in our bodies. It's like a tree whose roots, its branches, can only reach as far, and the wind, and be as strong as the wind blows, as its roots are deep. The more fruit that it has, the higher its branches can reach. So also for us, the more that we're grounded in our bodies, and kind of in this world, the more that we can kind of also dwell in the spiritual delights, kind of soak in and make contact with the spiritual delights. So there's ratzon is a meditation. We go up to the Holy of Holies, per se, and gather the Or Chadash that's there for the taking. Hashem suffers when we suffer. Hashem wants the tikkun to come, the healing to come as much as we do more. So we gather the Or Chadash and we come back down and come in and let it come in. And then the next the next prayer stance is Mal, which is part of Chashmal. So Chashmal, the word Chashmal comes from Yechezkel's mystical vision. It means, in modern day Hebrew, it means electricity. It has two subwords, Chashai, with Chash, which is Chashai, a word for silence, and Mal, which comes from Malal, speech. And so it's these two ways of prayer where Mal is the insistent, assertive prayer. This is what I want. This is what Hashem, the pain that comes, the place of lack and longing, where I tap into that lack and longing and I connect it to Hashem. I become a partner with Hashem in prayer. And Hashem gives us our ratzon and gives us those lack and longing. But you know what? I want to say that later. So I'm going to pause there. So we go up, we bring the lights down, we say in Hashem, this is what it seems to me is what needs, how these lights, what kind of healing that needs to happen. And then we shift to Chash, which is the place of radical acceptance. It's a receptive polarity. It's that place that I spoke about before, where I just know with every cell of my body that this is I can say it in Sarah Yehudit's words if I have it here. I know and trust that Hashem has arranged this moment in the most gentle way that could possibly be designed to bring about my next step in personal and spiritual tikkun. So Chash is surrender. I surrender to if this isn't your will, if this prayer that I'm putting out, if it isn't your highest will, Hashem, so then don't let it be. Help me to know in the gentlest way possible what is your will. So that's Chash, and the way that they go together, it says it's like a tennis player who has to be ready. Tennis players, they don't just stand there waiting for the ball; they're going from foot to foot. So sometimes it's time to know when is it time for prayer and hishtadlut and moving forward, and when Esther Malka fasts to make her mission successful. Ask to reverse the genocidal decree. When was it time to speak? And when was it time to be in this Chash modality where she didn't protest becoming Achashverosh's wife, the tragic fate. And in the merit of that, she redeemed the Jewish people. So that's the Chashmal, where we jump back and we kind of move back and forth between these two polarities of asserting will and surrendering to Hashem's will. And the idea is that in that dance, our will becomes Hashem's will. We become aligned that our will and Hashem's will, that's through Ruach HaKodesh, that's divine inspiration. So the light, we gather the light, it comes in, we say, if this is, it seems to me this is how it should be distributed. And if it's not, if this isn't your highest will, if this isn't the best way, please let me know, please correct it. And then we ground the lights. The next pole is show. It's the embodiment of the lights. There's an idea in Kabbalah that when lights go down, we have to do something to ground them. And any act, any kind of act to use the lights as they come in. So on Purim, we use dance. So in the High Council itself, there's kind of the space gets cleared. And it starts as a circle dance, holding hands. And the idea is really coming into the body because, our kind of the chidush of Torah and of Torah is that spirituality is meant to be lived in this world. The things that our definition of the highest spiritual delight of oneg, of what we're supposed to on Shabbat, oneg Shabbat is about eating, it's about physical intimacy. We experience the spiritual in the physical. And in order to do that, we need to be in the physical. And there's so much, and we'll talk a little bit about this in Mal. And in my therapy practice, I'm very well acquainted with all the places in our bodies that store trauma. It's also where we feel the pain. Adam and Chava, they were on a mental plane. They didn't even have the kind of physical bodies that we have, or even that emotional layer. So this is our tikkun. This is how we're bringing back that light, but now through with a lev basar, with a heart that feels. So we're gonna get back into that. We're gonna speak more about that, and when I go more into Chash and Mal. So Shov is the place of embodiment. And again, as we're dancing, and like Miriam Hanaviah could access I said this on last class, but just quickly, she could access a higher level of, she was feeling the Geula in the present moment. Whereas Moshe Rabbeinu says, Va'az Yashir Hashem, in the future, we'll sing to Hashem. Miriam Hanaviah said, Shiru Hashem. We're singing to Hashem. They accessed it because they were a collective kli. The women went out together in a circle dance, and they used their bodies, because the light that come down, it's not enough just through our voice, through our thinking. It's a full body. That's the lights. This is the last stages of before the feminine rising. It has to do with the feminine rising. But I'm gonna there's much to say about that. And please God, we're gonna have more classes throughout the year to deepen into these poles, because each one of them, again, I have some pretty serious health challenges, and each one of these, and as a somatic therapist, each one of these poles, these practices, is such a wellspring of healing and growth and transformation, and they're kind of forever giving. So for now, Shov's kind of my favorite, but I'm gonna move on. I'll open it up if there's any questions so far about any of the polls in particular.
I don't have a question about what you just described, because it was so beautifully delineated, or whatever the English word is. But just a quick question: if we were, and as a side note, if we're putting this Purim Council, Mirza Hashem, in our community.
Yeah.
So it's going to have to, it's on Purim. We have to find a time to do it on Purim itself, obviously, right? I just want to check in with you. Okay. Yeah. And then,
I'll say it could be done any day of the year. And because the Holy of Holies is open for us, it's the most propitious time to do it. Yeah.
Okay. And I really apologize for not following the threads of emails. My question is the things that you're saying now, and things to say to conduct it, is that going to be emailed to us, or it was already emailed to us? Again, I apologize. I really just came back from a very big trip to Israel. I'm really trying to I'm just trying to collect myself. And I really would like to do this in my community. Perhaps we could do this Friday night. Not Friday night, what am I saying? At night, after right. Megillah read. Was that when most people do it at night?
Yeah. So you know what, at the end of this call, for anyone who wants to stay on and hear about leading, or we'll address all of these questions. It's great questions, and it's important.
Okay. Just really quickly, you will forward what to say, the whole protocol.
Yeah, you'll have a script. It's literally what Sarah Yehudit reads at her Purim High Council. It's the same exact wording that she reads from the script. You'll have the same script.
Okay. Great. Yeah, sure. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Sorry to interrupt.
Go ahead, Nell.
Yeah. So you had the X, right? The cross or plus sign, but now it doesn't seem to go by. So it goes. We're saying it goes ratzon, Chash, Mal, and then Shuv.
No, ratzon, Mal,
Chash,
and then Shuv. So yeah. So and kind of again the flow being go up and get the light, And this is what if I have any say in it, this is what it seems we should do with it. And help me correct it if it's not. First, we tap into our souls, the Rev Eliyahu Dessler. I'm going to say it in a minute, but we want to tap into our nefesh, to our ratzon, our personal, the thing that Hashem gave us as our tikkun to bring healing to in the world. That's why it hurts us so much. That's why it touches us. So first we tap into that. And there's a piece also that we turn it. The Baal Shem Tov says the secret to prayer is to become like a shliach tzibur for all of Am Yisrael. So if I'm praying for a shidduch for someone, for my child, for someone, so I say, and everybody that needs a shidduch should find their shidduch, and the Shechina should come together with the Kadosh Baruch Hu. We're symptom bearers of the Shechina. So as Am Yisrael, the Shechina is this vast pool of longing. She kind of embodies the creation is Hashem. I'll just say it now because we'll kind of transition into the Mal exercise. And I do, and at the end we'll come back to the flow of the High Council a little more. We'll
that piece of paper that you're reading from, that's something you're able to send out to us now that we can print out?
It's in the script.
It is. And we
Yeah.
have the link to that in the email you sent.
In the facilitator package, yeah. I think it's called or the nusach or the script. That's the same thing. And it's actually it's more for you to get acquainted with it. And then in the High Council, this part is read. There's a little bit of an introduction that's more for facilitators. And then there's the actual part that's read, which is clearly lined out here. Yeah. So wait, let me see how I'm doing on time. Okay, good. So, and forgive me if I said this before, but Hashem, just give me, I'm going to take a pause point, hold on. So the purpose of creation, Hashem, Sarah Yehudit says, in some mysterious way was lacking nothing but an other to be in relationship with. And so Hashem created, it seems soon, constricted him, her, itself, and made creation. And also because Hashem can't be lacking. So if Hashem is perfect, he can't be perfecting. It can't be needing to change or transform. So in creation, we became that part of Hashem, the Shechina, creation, Am Yisrael, that in its essence, the Rosh Chodesh, we're at the new moon. The moon, it's the feminine. That's is always, growing and waxing and waning. So in our essence, in our essence, we are lacking. It's a part of being human. And Rav Dessler, which I'll just read. He says the Gemara presents as synonymous terms the word for prayer, tefillah, and the word for vital soul, nefesh, and even uses the words interchangeably. Rabbi Eliyahu Dessler explains, this is from Sarah Yehudit's Prayer and Tefillah correspondence course. Rav Dessler explains the implications of this. Prayer becomes the constant state of longing, needing, striving, and desiring that is the essential activity of the vital soul, i.e. nefesh. So the exercise I want to do here today, and it's not, just to be very clear, this exercise is not done in the High Council. It's just a way for us to deepen in that when we're at the High Council, please God, participating, it's a way that we can kind of know Mal, this place of prayer, in a more embodied way. So one, I would recommend kind of the first place is, what do I want? Sarah Yehudit says, well, Sarah Yehudit and the Spice Girls, as my husband always laughs when I say this, tell me what you want, what you really, really want. So, I don't want to take time to do it today, but I highly recommend as a regular practice and before Purim to kind of make a list. This is what I want. This is what I really, really want. Getting in touch with our ratzon, with our nefesh in that way. And the sky's the limit. It can be a new washing machine. It can be world peace. It's, from gadol to katan. Rabbi Nachman says you should pray for if your button, what does he say? Just the smallest things that so from gadol to katan, and then kind of find from within there, what do I really, really want? Which of these are connected to my soul's longing? Because I'm not gonna say something, but I'm gonna
Do you need
I'm not
help?
gonna go there.
Okay, I'll make 2 trips.
Chodesh Tov, Leah.
Chodesh Tov.
Do
Chodesh
you mind
Tov.
muting yourself? Chaver Rachel, shalom. Wow.
Hi.
Do you mind muting yourself
You have to mute it.
and then come
No,
in to speak to us?
too shy.
Speak to us after. So I want to invite us to kind of land in a place of need, because in order to pray, to call out for this is what I want, we have to have space that I have a need. There's something lacking here. And so many of us got the message that our needs, there wasn't space for our needs, that our needs weren't valid. You don't need another blanket. It's warm in here. What do you need another blanket for? It's warm in here. Or go, I'm busy now. Go in the other room. That there wasn't space for our needs. And so we learned how to kind of say, and we'll get to this in Chash, but to say now, in a Torah context, as I feel the pain, but it's from Hashem and a kol tova, whatever you want, Hashem. We don't make space for our own needs. And so I want to, here and now, kind of invite you to just kind of a little bit of a reframe, to choose something that's a kind of a prayer that you have, a need, a want, a desire, a pain. It could be from a place of lack or longing, something that is so painful that needs you really, you're praying that the healing should come, or something that you're really going for, praying that the High Council for me, will spread around the world. But really kind of to land, and I'm gonna take some quiet so that we can kind of land in this as a meditation. You know what? So I'll lead us in. It can help to, if you want to close your eyes, if that's not comfortable, they can also be open, just that it can help to cut out outside stimulation. And kind of start just feeling your seat on whatever you're sitting on. Maybe feel your feet on the floor if they're on the ground. Notice your breath. And if you haven't already found, take a moment to kind of listen inside to what piece of lack, what need might be present in this moment. Something that just keeps coming up. You've been praying for so long, and I just in this this space, I wouldn't pick something too painful, because I want us to be able to kind of feel into it and stay within our window of well-being, stay resourced. It's something that's just, maybe on a scale of 1 to 10, about a 4 or 5 of uncomfortable. And just start with a place. I have a need for this to be different. Hashem. And I want to invite you to just kind of land there and notice what happens in your body. Maybe your emotional body, what emotions come up. And everybody's experience is different. So you might say, what is she talking about? Landing in a need. You might be in your thoughts. It's fine. Just kind of notice, I have a need not to do this meditation right now. And let that be. Make space for that. And maybe feel the expansiveness of allowing your need to be here. And kind of let yourself feel this is kind of the feeling, any places in your body, as maybe you feel the brokenness, you let yourself feel the brokenness of not having, of this situation, of this relationship, or financial difficulty, or someone that needs healing. And notice where in your body, if there's a constriction that comes in, maybe noticing your heart space. What happens there as you touch into the pain of this lack, this longing for healing here. And for time's sake, we could stay here longer, and I invite you to revisit, to come back to this. I also want you to just kind of notice, as you allow yourself to have a need, any sense of agency that might live here, as we really own that our ratzon it's the highest part of our soul. It's connected to our keter, and it's connected to Hashem's ratzon. And so Hashem has invited me in to the Shechina as a symptom bearer of the Shechina to bring the tikkun. So whether it's through voicing prayer, or maybe these are the steps that I'm going to take to bring about this tikkun, or to help, what do I need to do to make this happen? To what steps in this world can I take? And just notice any, we kind of switched over. It's a different kind of leaving the place of pain for a moment, and trying on kind of the power, as Rav Dessler brought, it's and the Gemara speaks about, it's synonymous with our vital soul. So feel kind of the aliveness and power that lives in need, that it kind of drives me and guides me to act in the world in a way that brings fixing, it brings tikkun, it brings partnership with a Kadosh Baruch Hu. And you might notice how your heart space, maybe any different quality there. Or maybe your posture shifts as you kind of come into this place of agency around need. And just taking a few more moments to kind of notice what's here. And maybe what might bear returning to, maybe journaling about something you kind of opened up for you as you made space for need. There might have been resistance, as again, so many of us didn't get the message that there was space for need. So often there can be a kind of fear or worry or kind of moving away from, maybe even collapse, defeat, an energy of defeat. And that we're gonna, in Chash, we're gonna kind of address those feelings as well. So when you're ready, you can kind of gently open your eyes. And if you want to first, I don't know, look down or somewhere in the room before you just look at squares on a computer screen, to kind of come back into the present. And I think I'll move us right into the Chash meditation. And then after, we can share, if anyone wants to share any questions or reflections, insights. So Chash, let me just, Chash is the place, I heard it said kind of, when do you know the balance between hishtadlut and emunah? When the hishtadlut starts to feel like too much, that I can't, it's frustrating, and I can't anymore. And when it's a place of constriction, when prayer becomes and the hishtadlut becomes. So that's the time, that's the kind of clue, the knowing. It's time. This is a Chash moment. And again, it's this dance between when is a mal moment, when am I speaking and acting and doing, and when is a Chash moment. And the place, wait, I'm going to take a moment because I have many, many thoughts about Chash, and I want to see what I had, remember what I wanted for today. Okay. So if we come back, you're kind of coming back inside. Kind of again, dropping into that place of need. And just allowing yourself to feel the place where it's not fulfilled. Just really making space for the place where this need is not being fulfilled in this moment. Really bringing acceptance to that. And what's important here, it's not that I'm denying that I have the need. It's just saying that in this moment, it might not be tomorrow or in the next minute or tomorrow, that I'm not going to get back up and fight, to have it change. But in this moment, as it feels too much, as the pain is too much, as the brokenness, then I switch to the place of Chash. And I want to bring Chash as a way to experience Chash as I want to bring in compassion. Because Chash is, as we said, I don't know if we said, but it's kind of a yielding into being held by Hashem in this moment, in this place. And our survival, our vital soul survival instinct is to push and fight and not trust. And so I want to invite compassion. Even the brain science these days kind of proves that it has a way of calming the vital soul, that survival instinct, so that it can land in a place of trust, a place of safety, a place of connection to Hashem within the brokenness, within the pain. So if compassion had kind of inviting an energy of compassion, and maybe it had a color, it might be a light energy, it might be an animal, you know, if you grew up with a pet. Kind of inviting that energy of compassion to what maybe it surrounds you. Kind of letting it come in and touch on the place of where the place of pain. An energy of compassion that says, I get it. This is really hard. I see you. And you're not alone. There are other people also that have this suffering. Can I be with you here? And so letting that light, if it's a light, that color of compassion, even maybe letting it into your heart. If you could maybe put a drop of compassion, like a salve, a healing salve of compassion, let it come in through your skin. This place where I'm seen, I'm held, I'm cared for. And knowing maybe like even like a baby in the womb, that is Shasali Kol Tzarchi, Hashem is giving me everything that I need in this moment. And rechem, you know, the word of rachamim, rechem, that this is actually, as I read from Sarah Yehudit before, this is the most gentle possible way, somehow beyond my understanding, for whatever reason, what's happening in the moment is the most gentle possible way for the spiritual tikkun to come about. And Hashem is here. You're not alone here. And you might even, you know, Hashem is kind of a lofty, maybe hard. You might think of people that are of support in your life that could be with you here in this suffering, that have space for your feelings, for your experience. And just taking a few more moments to land in this place of just receiving Hashem's love right there in the place of kind of letting light in, right in the place of darkness, letting some light in, some connection, support. And take whatever time you want. You might, I don't know if you want to move your body a little, or kind of as you come back, as we come back to each other. And I want to open up again if anyone has any thoughts, reflections, questions.
I want to ask a question. Is this doing this, like finding these places and opening ourselves to that compassion, which is completely meditative, but is it also somatic? Because I know that's what you said you do. Is this the same thing as somatic?
The way that it's, the way that it's somatic is the way that and maybe the truth is, I don't know if I let it enough in the body, but the way that we let ourselves feel it in our heart, for our heart to take it in. Our heart, the science shows these days, and, and it's the language of Torah, that the heart, it's avodat halev, tefillah is avodat halev. And embryologically, the heart, the way a baby in the womb, the heart starts where the mouth is, and then it comes up, if I'm understanding correctly. Bonnie Bainbridge Cohen teaches, the wonderful teacher, that the heart, as the baby develops, it comes up where the mouth is, and then it comes down through the core, and it comes down into the heart, and the brain kind of follows after it. So there's a spiritual and physical reality. Also, brain science shows the nerves of the heart. There's a heart brain, there's a belly brain, that it informs us. It has it opens, it expands. You can have an expand. We can feel sometimes somatically the heart closing, and we can bring the compassion, that energy, that light, right into our heart. And that's the heart receives that knowing, and as the heart knows and feels that kind of sense of safety, so we have more heart.
So would that be just definitionally, my new made word, definitionally, that explains what somatic is? I'm just trying to understand the difference between like somatic and doing a meditation where you get into that calm place. Is somatic like just a deeper knowing? Like when you're kind of doing it, you get into a deeper knowing?
Somatic is the body consciousness. It's the consciousness. Yeah, it's when we bring our consciousness, our awareness, our consciousness into our bodies. And in Kabbalah, and this is where I love how Kabbalah and somatic therapy kind of overlap. Light and consciousness are synonymous in Kabbalah. And what our work in this world is to bring light into the physical, is to have our body and our soul resonate, be zivug, be in connection. And so the more that we bring our awareness and consciousness into our body, and I'm not sure that I led that, maybe and next week, so next week, Lee Nader, I'll do it more within the body. But as we bring the light and the consciousness, we're bringing it into the Homer. That's what we're here for. We're fusing body and soul. We're becoming in relationship with the vessel of the light, in a way that the vessel becomes the light.
The vessel becomes a light. That's beautiful. Yes.
Anyone else? Blue Shandel, do you have anything to say?
Well, today while I was thinking about Chashmal, I was thinking about how it's a little bit like going from the cup is half empty to the cup is half full consciousness, going back and forth. It's like allowing myself to have the cup half empty and then going to the cup half full and then going back. I liked it. I just liked thinking of it that way.
So Mal is the cup half empty.
Right.
And Chash is the cup half full. Thank you.
Would you say that Chash is more than one up?
Like so 30 minutes.
Sorry,
It's Sarah.
It's
It's a little hard to hear you.
yeah, can you hear me now? Is that better?
Try again. Let's see.
Okay, sorry. And would you say that Chash is more connected to Mona and Mal is more gestaltet?
I would say so. Shana looks. They're both a place of Emunah, because we know Mal. We know it's all from Hashem. I'm praying to Hashem to be in partnership with Hashem. So it's also an aspect of Emunah. And Chash, they're different modes of Emunah. In a nervous system, I could say for Mal is more of a sympathetic, coming into our life force, but Emunah, again, in partnership with Hashem, in engaging, more of an active, and Chash is more of I guess I would say ventral vagal, which is the place of safety and connection, and and neither of them, it's not passive. Chash is not passive. There's another part of the nervous system that's connected to that place of safety, that's the dorsal, that's about collapse and submitting. And that's the place where it's not about it's not your will. And if it's not that I give up my ratzon and this need, it's that I am met there. They show trauma, people that have in children in war areas, lo aleinu, the difference between which children have signs of trauma afterwards and which don't, have PTSD or whatever, is the ones that have support, the ones that had someone that they could speak to. And in any this goes across not just for war, any kind of trauma, people that have loving, caring, non-judgmental, compassionate presence and support to make sense of what happened, to feel love, to feel held, to not be alone, to have support. That's so we stay present, we stay engaged. When I'm present, I feel Hashem's presence. I don't kind of do addictions or go for Netflix or space out. I'm able to, as I feel Hashem's presence in the darkness, like right in there, that's where the healing and transformation. I don't know if that answers.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anyone else? And then we'll go back kind of to the flow of the High Council and any questions about leading one, participating in one. But just if there are any other questions or reflections or. Okay. So I want to say again that those two exercises that we just did, they're not officially in the High Council. The Mal is more of a hidbodedut spoken prayer. You might take a minute at the beginning just to make space for that need, to feel it in your body, to really own it. Yeah, to kind of get, you could say get pumped up, like, okay, Hashem, we really want to pray with our full hearts. And this is for all of Am Yisrael, and that I'm a Shalit Tzibor, so to kind of take the time to drop in a moment before. And the same with Chash. If bringing a light of compassion helps you to feel, to accept what's there, what you're struggling with, so use it. And again, each person kind of relates and meets these practices in a different way. So there's no really right or wrong. Okay, so I'm gonna hand over the reins to Chana Vered, who is our kind of on the ground support person for hosts and participants.
And I just asked, unfortunately, I was off in terms of the time. Is this recorded, and when will it be posted?
I sure hope I record. Oh, it's recording. Yes, it is recording. Yes, and it will be posted. It will be posted. Please God, tomorrow, maybe by the afternoon.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you so much. Okay, I always look forward to it. Yeah.
Good.
Hi, ladies. Chodesh Tov. Can everyone hear me properly? Yeah. So first of all, thank you, Malka-Sima, as I have not been going to the High Council for 20 years. I have been going just for maybe 5, and have run it a couple of times in my home. And I didn't have access to classes like this before the High Council, and I'm really hearing and feeling in my body the difference of meeting this material in a wider context. So thank you for bringing that to us, Malka-Sima, in such a clear, concise and felt way. So I guess I'll give a very quick overview as to the steps that I have gone through in hosting a High Council, and then we'll open up to any questions. I'm kind of tempted to go a little bit straight into questions because I feel like, what do you think? Would you guys like to just jump to questions? Anyone? I can see lots of smiling faces.
I would like to hear what you had done, because in case I actually
Okay.
do.
Yeah, I agree.
Fine.
Love to hear it.
So Baruch Hashem, Sarah Yehudit Schneider released the script 2 years ago. And having had such a mind-blowing, reality-altering experience being a part of the High Council in her apartment in the old city, I just felt like the world needs to experience this. Women of the world need this experience, and it's such an honor to be helping Malka-Sima get this out to the Jewish world. So the truth is, the first time I didn't do very much. I literally sent out a WhatsApp to some of my closest girlfriends, like, guys, we've got the script for the High Council, let's do it. And I said, who wants to be involved and help me? Maybe 2 or 3 women got back to me. And all I simply did was I printed off the nusach, which is the script, which is in your resource pack, which is in all of the, pretty much most of the emails you've received from us has a link to the resource pack. I read through the script. I divided it into sections that made sense to me, and taking into consideration who was helping me and how much I wanted to lead and how much I was comfortable giving away. So at the beginning, I thought I just wanted to do the whole thing. But I realized that there was a lot of value in sharing the leading and hearing other people's voices and having other people lead different meditations, because each of us are our own channel. And whilst we're all connected, it really helped the whole thing feel like a much more collective and unified experience. I set the date, I set the time. We did it on the evening of Purim after Megillah reading. Most of my friends have young kids, and that was a time where we could get away, where they could either find babysitters or the husbands were in charge on the promise that the next day they got their time. And there's something very special about that, because in former years, and our friends shared this with me, we usually go for Megillah and then we go home. There's not, maybe there's a party, maybe it's not. And so it's really nice to do something so intentional and powerful before we engage with Purim Day, which my experience of Purim is you just get pulled everywhere, left, right, center. There's so much happening. So to really be able to sort of carve out that time and fill it with Kedusha just transformed my entire Purim experience. The second time that I did it, I gave more time and attention. I decorated my room. This whole bookcase was covered with gold material and fairy lights everywhere. And I bought a bunch of paper crowns from Sandal or Macstock or the Shekel Shop, whatever your vision. And I lay them out on the tables, and everyone brought a bottle of wine, and I asked people to come earlier this time because I realized people like to schmooze, and it was good to, build the atmosphere, play some music, or, and then we had a time where the doors shut. So this is something that happens at Sarah Yehudit's house, and it's something that I have appreciated doing, and I think people who are part of the High Council also appreciate knowing that when we reach a certain time, the doors lock, no one comes in, no one comes out. It really sets the tone and helps to create a serious, intentional space. Because Purim does have a more light, jolly vibe. Whereas this really highlights the seriousness of the event. And I think, as I've heard many teachers say, you know, this is real. This is real. And the work that we're doing here is real. And so I felt that it really helped to convey that message in a really strong way. The first time that we did it, I had those people who played music. Somebody came and brought her drum. She also brought incense. She brought some of the incense that's used in the Qatar mix. That was a really nice, we sort of passed that around and everyone smelt it first, and that was really lovely. I had the playlist. So we're going to provide you guys with a playlist with all of the music. And I actually decided to write out the lyrics to the songs, because we have some people in our community who are either converts or not so familiar with the music. And I know myself, through my tshuva journey, I always so wanted to sing all the songs, and I didn't know the words, and it took me to kind of a bit of a shameful place. Oh, thank God I'm not there anymore. But so I did that, and that was really helpful. And then I printed a script for each of the people who were going to be facilitating. And I actually, the diagram that Malka-Sima put up with the polls, I printed and laminated a few of those and just had them on the seats, one stuck on the wall, because I felt, you know, it's really helpful to be shown, just as Malka-Sima does, that, you know, we're going up to here and this way and this way, and it kind of helped me really have a strong visual in mind. And that was pretty much it. I only really had the song for the end, which is Siona's song of Miriam taking the drum of her hand. And when we were at Sarah Yehudit, she plays the whole soundtrack of Siona's, and it's beautiful. So I had that waiting to be played with a speaker connected to it. I did set that up beforehand to make sure that it was working, but the truth is, you're with your friends mainly, so there's a lot of room for error, and this is a bit, it is still quite very relaxed and fun environment. So I don't want the serious piece to be so serious. There's lots of room for, you know, true reality, if that's such a word. And then that was pretty much it. Some people stayed afterwards, we danced a bit, we drank a bit more, but then, you know, we knew we had to get up the next day for the Purim extravaganza. So I think that's pretty much it for now. I would say that once I'd formed my sort of committee, so to speak, the truth is I could have done it, organized it all by myself. It's not so complicated, and particularly in the resource pack we're going to give you, it's not there yet, but it will be in the next few days, wording for an email invitation, wording for a WhatsApp invitation, wording for a Facebook post. So you literally just need to copy, paste, and put your own details in, and that's it. The flyer itself and anything that you have a problem with, we are here for you. Just send us an email and we'll be in touch. And if anyone has any questions.
Chana Vered. Yeah, you know, hi. So I love the thought that right after Megillah reading, there is that like now what? Like I could run home and quickly work on the Shalach Manos with my kids, and it can be, there is that low, there is like a period of low, like, okay, now you have to get into like the spirit, like into the spirit of it. My question for you is, so I'm just like, I'm when you said lock the doors, first I was thinking I would have the women stay at shul, but that's not going to work because anyone can really get in with the code, meaning there's a women's section, but it's not closed up. So I don't know really where to do this because I have all boys. Like,
I don't think you literally need to lock the door. I think it's enough to say to people, we're beginning at this time. Please make sure you come before. And if it isn't somewhere like a shul hall, chances are people can quietly make their way in. Mine was in the living room of my house where the front door like comes in. So if somebody was going to walk in, it would be ta-da, right in
I don't think shul is necessarily a good spot just because there could be that random person who might want to learn or whatever and go into the base measures.
But if you know you're going to use a community space, presumably you'll be able to speak with the gabbai or whoever's in charge, and maybe they would be able to send a message out to the community, this is happening on this night. But you know, if you have it can also be done in people's houses.
I think houses is better, but then you need a house where there's no husband home. Or like, I guess, I see what you're
Or a
saying, like
husband who's
organize it where they could go
willing
to someone's house for a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh, so maybe the question is, how long do you think it takes from beginning to end? So that like, maybe I would send my boys away and my husband away for just a little.
Yeah, I mean, from start to finish, officially the High Council lasts between 1 hour and 1 hour and 30 minutes. So it's not such a long time. You know, my husband, I mean, we're blessed he has an office in the house, so he's there. My kids
Yeah,
thank
well,
God are
we do
sleeping.
too, but you could totally hear singing, but I hear you. Okay, I'm just,
Yeah, but
Yeah,
you know,
I was
it is songs of Kedusha, so you know, there's that to take into
okay.
Yeah, I
Okay.
mean, I'm
Thank
just
you.
thinking too that it's not secretive. It's something that really the men and boys need to hear that it's happening too. It's not that they need to be listening or part of it, but if they're in the house and that's coming through, it's like having a minion in your living room. It's like it's permeating through your house, and your boys should know that it's happening, you know. And when
Well,
you
I'm
make
totally open to it, but they would shoot me if I played Achishana. It's just not happening.
yeah,
Not in my house. Not
Purim. It's Purim. I saw someone play AC/DC in the Kikar Yerushalayim on Purim and blared it. You know, a teenage boy. No one could say anything because it's Purim. So,
But ACTC is not girls. Yeah, totally. No, but it's good that we're talking. Was really curious how people do set it up. If you have, I mean, we are literally an all boy family. So, but it's not your problem to figure out. I just was curious if anyone like navigated it. But for an hour and a half, maybe I could send them out to friends, figure something out ahead of time.
Yeah, also, even I've done it, we've also done it in the Golan, and the kids, even if it's girls, it's, you know, unless they're in for the kind of quiet meditative space, it's just the kids kind of know mommy's doing something here. It's just a sacred space, like Nell said, if like there's a minion in the living room, you don't go in and make noise in the other room. It's just kind of that everybody knows that there's this it's quiet.
I last year had somebody from Israel who's part of the group who's like been doing it for many years. So I was very fortunate. And we did it together. We joined the Zoom that you had. And we went upstairs into one of the bedrooms and just kind of cleared a space. And, you know, I made space to be able to dance and to move and close the door. And it was our space and no one bothered us. So, you know, we just moved things around and did that. It depends how many people you have. I only had one other person, so it really wasn't hard to find a space.
Which is a really important point of that this can be done with just one person, but likewise it can be done with as many as you can fit in your space.
If you're lucky enough to be able to have that, yes. If you're lucky,
right? Of course. Oh, Hashem. Does anyone have any other questions?
I have a question.
Tina.
Hello.
Hello.
Okay. Second time seeing today. So I don't remember the music you play. Of course, I would want to play Tziona's. Makes perfect sense to have Tziona's to play her song at the end there. But does it I don't remember what the songs are. Does it matter exactly?
So so the songs that have been chosen have been intentionally chosen to appear at various stages of the prayer journey. So whilst it's not necessary to play it on a speaker or music, we would recommend singing the specific
those words.
Yeah, but most of them, it's only the last one that is Tziona's song that she's, you know, taken this verse and turned it into her own musical composition. The others are songs that most of us are quite familiar with, like Lashana Hababi Yerushalayim, that comes at the very end. We have at the beginning Tihei Sha'a ratzon, right? You're on mute, Malka-Sima.
Yeah.
Well, the songs that you're familiar with, I think the recommendation is to stick to the songs that are included in the script. However, if anyone has particularly strong feelings about that there's a conversation to be had for sure.
And you play
if
it
you-
usually, or or you sing it like a
We sang. I had somebody who can play the guitar. She sort of took that role, and she would make sure it's the tunes that you know, because last year she came with these tunes none of us knew. So that's worth checking. So you can have, or you could just have people singing vocally,
right.
or you could just play it if people aren't going to know the song. So
Right.
there's all of those different options.
Right.
Okay.
And even if you do play it, it is meant to sing along too, even if you're playing Siona's
Right.
version of Pete Houli and but Rifkadina, I imagine you can lead it. The only one is Shove then. It is if someone doesn't want to use Siona's music, I would still recommend listening to the songs in the playlist, because again, Shove, music, you could put on some really fast Hasidic techno and get really high and jump around, but it's meant to be we're embodying the lights through the movement. So kind of listen to the energy of the songs that Sarah Yehudit has chosen. So again, even if it's not those songs for Shove, that Shove medley, there's a few songs actually, but there's still some of that kind of grounding energy. Some of the songs are slower, and there's a real, you can just feel the women together and the unity and and like the light and the prayer, and then some are more expansive, and even in the expansive, you're feeling your feet on the ground, you're feeling the joy and the light and staying present, in this, in this world, in this body, in this connection with others.
Okay.
Mhm.
Does anyone have any other questions?
So it sounds like the packet, the leaders packet hasn't been sent out yet. Right?
So the last email that you got from us telling you about the class also included information that the resource pack has been updated. So that's been available for a little while.
Did you get that now? Did you get
your name's
specific host?
I'm not sure, I have to check.
So what I would say is that if you have not yet signed up via the links in the original email to be a host or a participant, then please do that, because we'll have your information saved in the appropriate place, and all of the updates that I'm sending for hostesses you'll receive. So I actually don't recognize your name now, so maybe you've not got it yet, and I can share that with you. If you want to send me a private message with your email, then I can try and send that out to you tonight. And then in that resource pack, there's the nusach, which is the script. There's a question and answer sheet for hostesses. Hopefully we're going to do one for participants. There's a flyer template. There is Malka-Sima. What else is in there?
I think the email invite that you can edit or
they're
use.
coming. So the WhatsApp template, and they're coming. They'll hopefully be with you B'ezrat Hashem before Shabbos.
And the flyer, by the way, I did it because we're running one up here on Purim and then going to Sarah Yehudit's Please God on Shushan Purim. I went into the same link that you all have, and it's really, you just cut and paste the name of the city, put your name in there, contact info. It's quite, thank God, user friendly. And someone else made a totally new, their own flyer, and it was also gorgeous and special. And so, but it's probably the time. I encourage people to, you set the time, you kind of have to commit to the time and the place to give women. It's a couple weeks away, so that they're talking to their husbands about, can I want to get away, after the Megillah or during the Suda or whatever it is. It is the time to start spreading the word in your community. And on there's also links that there are these classes, that they can contact us for more information. You don't have to answer every question about the Purim High Council, but they get in touch with you about, they have the information, and if they have questions about anything local or they can also be in touch with you directly. Very exciting. It's really, I mean, just as Chana Vered said, and Sarah Yehudit says, this is real. Like the world is not the same after before and after Purim, and having this expansion, like even just here on the call, the kind of connection of us women coming together, and the energy that's here, and anytime women come together in Kedusha, it's sparks are being lifted. So it's really, I can't even, I don't know, it's probably a good Yiddish word, kerplotzt or something.
It's also, I think it's so amazing that this has all come together in a year of Hakel, which is really wonderful, this is the year when gatherings are really encouraged, especially by the Rebbe. Yeah, divine timing. Very Purim. Thank you very much, Malka-Sima. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
And
This is
thanks for
amazing.
everyone.
Thank
for being
you.
on.
Thank you to both of you lovely ladies.
Yeah,
Thank
thank
you,
you, Chana
everyone.
Vered, and everyone here. Yeah, it's really, we'll stay in touch, and also after, really, anyone that wants to kind of come together and keep deepening into these practices, and that says that Esther Malka prepared for a year before she went in to see the
Wow.
king. So that's we keep deepening into these practices, so that next Purim where I can just imagine the kind of weaving of lights that were the cloak, that shimmering cloak that's connecting us all as we continue to deepen into these practices throughout the year.
Chodesh Tov.
Yeah.
Good to see everyone. How beautiful.
Chodesh Tov. Bye, everyone.
Wonderful way to be with you all on Rosh Chodesh. Chodesh Tov. A lot of simcha, joy, love.
Yay.
Chodesh Tov.
Bye bye,
Thank you.
everyone. Chodesh Tov.